Right, so this is another episode. Today I had a meeting at 4, but it got cancelled. So I was like, you know what? Let me do a lessons. Even though I did this 2 days ago on Sunday. Also, it's raining, so I won't be able to go on an afternoon walk. So two reasons why I should do this. Let's jump right into it. I got 23 points at the moment. Number one, something I was brought up, like someone, a close friend brought up to me, was like, hey, like, you shouldn't sort of see people like as if like they have an X amount of capacity because if you say you have like a 5,000 milliamp battery pack and they only have 500 milliamp battery pack, it's sort of a bit degrading. Um, and obviously there's an argument of like, how do you know? How do you know they can't do as much as you? Um, and I was like, okay, that makes a good point. And I think what I took away from that, I went from, okay, seeing what each person is able to sort of offer, or like what, like seeing the capacity of other people, to just focusing on me, focusing on doing the best I can, increasing my own capacity. But at the same time, also acknowledging that others have a lot going on in their life. And I'm gonna sort of stop reaching out, but instead reply and help as needed. Because I have the capacity to help a ton of people that reach out to me. Um, and I'm able to spread myself across 10, 20, 30 people without issues. Um, sort of take the Nanny McPhee, sort of the Jesus approach where when you ask for help, help shall come. So sort of rather than put myself out there and drain myself because most people can't get back to me in time, focus on just sort of helping people and matching people where they're at. Put things on me. Um, sort of, yeah, this is a blurry point. I couldn't really understand. I'm trying to remember what I meant by this, but yeah, I think that's that. Number two, putting myself in other people's field of confidence. This is something that I've been doing a lot more. I've been finding a lot of value from doing things that are other people's expertise. I think I actually repeated this point recently. So one, I get to learn from someone who's confident in that thing. Two, if they can do it, so can I. And three, now I know my limits. Like now I know that I can run 11.7 kilometers. Like if someone needs me to run, do like a 10-kilometer run, and that's their field of expertise, I can comfortably say yes. I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but I've done it before. And now let's say someone asks me to do 15, 20 kilometers, and that's something they experience that. I'll be honest, like, hey, like I've never done that far, but this will give them an opportunity and give me an opportunity to learn, and they can coach me through it. I actually cleared 2 points because I repeated that recently. I realized that number three or number four, I realized that people spend, this is going to be number four because the other one cleared 2 points. Number four, yeah, I realized people spend 1 to 3 hours every single day exercising at the gym, doing hobbies, doing activities, windsurfing, sailing. Like this is something that people do every single day. In my mind, I'm like, that is insane. Like I don't have 1 to 3 hours to spare. Like that's just so much time. But I realized that I like to spend 1 to 3 hours a day analyzing my mental health, analyzing my thoughts, doing this. This is basically an hour out of my day. And this is sort of my exercise. This is my hobby. And this takes work, it takes repetition, You don't get to a point of self-awareness. You don't get to a point of understanding what's happening. It takes time. Number five, I realized that people look forward and chase that next public holiday. Like people go to their calendar, they find the next public holiday, they book a out of town trip with their family and friends, they get an Airbnb. And that's something they look forward to, that next public holiday. Talking about that's crazy. Like we're already April. Like I remember New Year, Christmas, clear as day, and we're already a quarter through the year, which is insane. But what I want to practice is I want to work on treating every day as if it's a holiday. You look forward to a holiday. It's a chance for you to breathe. It's a chance for you to relax. It's a chance for you to just realize how fun life is. And I'm like, you know what? I'd want to treat every day as if it's a holiday. Every day you're given another 24 hours to play this game of life. If you're told that you would die in 7 days, imagine how valuable you would treat those last 7 days. And I want to sort of have that same mindset for every single day. Number six, something I'm starting to realize is that all my friends sort of know me. Just because I'm in my friend's story, I invite my friends to cool, interesting things I do. They share stories about like, hey, the other day I was with Andy doing A, B, and C. So it's pretty interesting how I'm sort of in the zeitgeist. Like a lot of, there's a lot of friends where I don't know their friends or they haven't introduced me to their friends, but their friends already know who I am. By the time that we meet up in person, I have no idea who they are. This is the first time I've ever met them or seen them, but they sort of know who I am already. Um, so that's pretty cool. Being known by your friends, and sort of being in the zeitgeist of your sort of being a local, not celebrity, but being known locally. Number seven, I have friends that send me things about the Democrats taking over, depopulation, people pushing different weird agendas like transgenderism and sort of converting over, like chopping my sort of genitals off and becoming a female. Like all these crazy things like seed oils, like killing people and giving people cancer. Like there's all these big things that like I can't do anything about. Like I hear about it, it sucks, and it's like, what can I do? But all I can do is I can just focus on making more money. And with more money, I can sort of make the slightest dent. Like with a tiny bit of money, I'm able to sort of spend time and create interesting content like this. And this makes a tiny little impact. I'm able to spend time with family and friends and educate them on the things I've learned. I'm able to have time to learn and focus on myself. Like me being able to have a bit of money, be able to be the boss of my own schedule, be my own boss, I'm already able to make a tiny, tiny, tiny little impact. So imagine the type of impact I'd be able to make if I was worth a billion, 10 billion, $100 billion. So don't worry, I should stop worrying about things I can't control or these crazy evil things that's happening around the world and just focus on making money. Number eight, something I'm realizing is that people are attracted by your circle of friends. When I introduce a friend to my circle of friends and they see the amazing people I have in my life, they now subconsciously want to spend more time with me, which is interesting. Yeah. Like people trust and are willing to join or sort of be a part of something when they see that other people of high value are part of it. So I think I want to keep focusing on attracting amazing people in my life, but then at the same time, keep introducing people two other amazing people in my life, because then those people now want to be a part of my life. So it creates a sort of snowball effect. Number 9. So corporate people always are proud of how they work long hours. They work 12-hour days. They get home at 10 p.m. How their corporate company looks after them and gets them an Uber home and gets them dinner, and how they can, like, if need be, if their boss, their manager slaps them a ton of work, they have the capacity to knock through it because, this is something they're proud of, being a corporate slave. That might be not the right term, but this is something that they sort of wear as a badge of honor. Like and as a result, they see someone that's a business owner, and they're like, "Man, Andy, you're lucky. You control your own hours. You're your own boss. You wake up when you want to. You can take the day off if you want to." Like they sort of then discount what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And it's probably the opposite. I feel like being an entrepreneur is way harder than being a corporate slave. But I guess I'll simply say, like, hey, you talk about how these long hours are tough and hard and how they suck. Like, if I were to simply ask you, like, hey, like, if your job were to disappear, you lost everything, how would you go ahead and replace your income? Like, how would you even go ahead and make 70K a year? Like, what would you do? If right now you lost your job and you needed to make 70K in the next year, what would you do? Now, most people wouldn't be able to give me an answer. And those that could, I'd simply say, that sounds like a solid plan, I guess. If you're confident in that plan, why don't you quit your job and do that? If making money on your own is easier than being a corporate slave, why not stop being a corporate slave and make money on your own terms if it's that easy? So I think that's sort of the straw man argument that I'm starting to form together to sort of bring light to sort of people who are proud of being a corporate slave and think they're the shit because they work long hours and they can take the push and the shove. Like, dude, become an entrepreneur and see how tough that is. Number 10. I realize I've been spending a lot of money, like all these travels, all these trips, all these different activities, all these weekends and days that I invest into activities. I'm investing solely in character building, whether it's sailing, whether it's going to New Caledonia, going to Mongolia. Like I'm investing and spending all my money on building my character. Even right now, like I'm bleeding out, I'm reinvesting into the company. Like I'm spending a lot of money to just build the character of not giving up, having faith, and figuring out how to make money under pressured scenarios. All this is me building character. Whereas other people might invest it in crypto, stocks, a house, real estate. But as a result, they stay the same person. 11. I have a friend that I've been praying for. He's a Christian friend. And, I feel like when you pray for people, you're sort of sending energy, you're putting what you say out in the ether. And there's a good chance that what you ask for, what you pray for, sort of does come to them. The universe does deliver what you ask for to them. Now, what about the opposite? What if you forget and not even think about someone? You cut someone out of your life, they're not even in your sphere of thought. What do you think happens to those people? Do they get nothing? Do they fade away? Do they disappear? What happens to people that you don't pray for? Do they fade away? Because when you pray for someone, you're sort of giving them energy, you're giving them life. So if you're not praying for someone, what happens? I haven't thought about it too much. I do believe life is sort of like Minecraft, where every time you walk forward, the area behind you disappears and the area in front of you starts populating. So as you sort of spend time and energy focusing on certain people, they grow and they flourish. And when you spend time not focusing on people, they sort of deteriorate and sort of whittle away. Number 12. Oh, that was number 12. Oh, number 12 is, yeah, watching someone's content. It's similar to praying to someone. Like when you're consuming someone's content, you're giving them your energy. Like, let's say I spend 5 seconds to send a prayer to someone versus I spend 5 seconds to consume someone's artwork or video or story. It's pretty much the same thing. You're spending 5 seconds giving your energy towards someone else. And it's true, like literally, when you watch someone, you're literally keeping them alive and relevant. Like if someone has a lot of views, they're highly relevant, they're highly alive. And the moment they become not relevant and no one's watching them, they sort of die off. Now, let's say there's someone, they're no longer relevant because their content is crap. If you force feed them a million views, they're going to feel that energy. They're going to get relevant. So I think what you consume is similar to who you pray to and for. 13. I've carved out an extra hour out of my schedule, not only for this, the lessons, but I'm still maintaining a weekly call with a friend, like a pen pal from UK. So now I have 2 hours each week that I've now carved out rather than one. And prior to that, there was a period where it was 0. So I had 2 hours extra. But this has forced me to be more diligent with my time. It's forced me to not watch a movie over the last 2 months. It's forced me to not plug the TV back in. It's forced me to come up with a routine that makes me more productive and procrastinate less. So I guess carving time out for others forces you to be more productive and be less wasteful with your time. Man, I'm churning through these. I'm up to number 14 already. Excuse me. Number 14. As a leader, this is something I had to learn the hard way. I thought as a leader, you can expect people to figure things out, hire great talent, ask them to do things, and they'll be able to figure it out. But what I'm now learning is that a great leader needs to figure things out themselves first before they pass it on. Like I found it annoying that I had to figure out editing, figure out podcasting, figure out engagement on social media, figure out Twitter, figure out all these things and be able to do each one of those things better than someone that their sole focus was just one of those things. Like that used to annoy me. But being a great leader means being able to do all those things, create a formula that works, and then passing it on. Like my mum, I'm not that good of a cook, but when we help our mum cook, she just tells us to do things and expects us to be perfect. But she could have taken the longer route and sort of do 2 cuts of how she wants us to cut the cucumber so that we can follow along. Because if she just gave us the cucumber, we're going to cut it the way we think we should cut it. And then she gets pissed. And that used to be me being pissed as a leader, as I gave tasks I thought should be simple, should be easily understood, and it being interpreted and done wrong. So a good leader needs to figure everything out themselves first. And a good leader needs to understand everything inside out. Like the reason why Elon Musk is so successful, he understands marketing, he understands engineering, he understands manufacturing, he understands coding, he understands everything. He understands human psychology. That requires you putting in the work to learn and understand every single part of your business. Because obviously, I think there are other argument, like Richard Branson He's a big fan of not understanding everything and hiring people when he's a great hirer and recruiter, I guess. And maybe that's his lucky talent where he can just hire great people so that he doesn't have to understand accounting, so that he doesn't have to understand marketing. I think that can only get you so far. That can only get you to the billion-dollar range. You're going to struggle to get to the 10, $100 billion unless you're like someone like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Bernard Arnault that probably understand everything. I'm getting hungry. I've fasted all day. Number 15, a person who spends time and continues to spend time with people who are toxic, people who talk negative about others, people who are constantly complaining, that's a red flag. It's a small red flag because it doesn't determine who you are. Like, for example, let's say I accidentally spend time with a negative person. That doesn't make me like, that isn't a big red flag. Now, let's say I consistently spend time with this negative person just because they're a childhood friend. I guess, yeah, it's a small red flag because you are who you surround yourself with. But let's say I stay strong and I don't let his negativity influence me. I'm going to be just a little slight more negative because I spend time with him. A person that spends time with negative people, it's not a big enough of a red flag for you to cut them out and rule them out, but it's definitely something you should add to the equation. Number 16. I'm addicted to human interaction. I thought that this would be the perfect medium for me to use as an outlet to get all my thoughts out there so that I wouldn't need to constantly call friends and annoy them with different ideas I wanted to get their thoughts on each night. But I'll finish these lessons and find myself craving that human interaction. Right now, I'm in the midst of this, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I like the fact that I can share my thoughts and get better at communicating, store and lock in, you know, these thoughts of 24, turning 25-year-old Andy, consolidate my thoughts. Like this felt like a pretty solid outlet, but I still, in the end, I still crave human interaction. But this is definitely a great substitute, not a full substitute. Substitute. It's sort of like training against an AI or computer, or training using a dummy versus training against a real person, playing chess around, with a real person. That's definitely something you're going to crave, but playing chess against a computer is definitely a solid outlet. Number 17, I realized that, I was thinking to myself, I was walking by the local park, I was seeing kids play soccer, and I was like, man, if I played soccer, right now we're going into winter, we just finished summer. I think soccer is a winter sport, but I was like, man, if I were to become a pro soccer player, I'd practice all year round, both summer and winter season. I practice 7 days a week. And I realized that life is the ultimate sport. I'm literally playing life 7 days a week. And there's a lot of people that play life 5 days a week. There's people who play life like 8 hours per day, times that by five. Like there's people who play life 40 hours a week. When they get home, they turn on Netflix. On the weekend, they just play games. Like they switch off. And the only time they're actively playing life is sort of during their work hours. And to be honest, eventually, once your work becomes mundane, you're no longer, I guess you're still practicing certain brain muscles, but I see life as the ultimate sport. And how I plan to get ahead and be the best at this game of life is to play it 7 days a week and just train all year round. Train during the holidays, train during summer and winter. I want to be one of the best players in this game of life. Number 18. You know what's more scary than jealousy? Do you know what's more scary than jealousy? Okay, yeah, got it. Jealousy. What's more scary than jealousy? Jealously? No, jealousy. Competitiveness, ego, pity, toxicity. What's worse than all those things is resentment. Like a person that resents you, that's someone you should be very weary about. Like a resent, it's sort of like they're low-key attacking you with their energy. There's not like it's hard to find a resentful person. Like I know a lot of jealous people. I know a lot of people that have egos that sort of out of their own ego, they pity you or pity me. Yeah, I don't like maybe I've had people that at certain period of time were resentful towards me, but like if someone's like if a friend like I have like friends of friends that sort of low key don't want me to succeed, but I should confirm with them like, hey, does John, that's just a fake name, resent me by any chance? Because if the answer is yes, it's like, whoa, like I don't even want to spend time with you because you're spending time with someone that resents me. Number 19. I was looking at a friend's Instagram page. He has like a running page, and man, he's popping. His engagement is high. He's getting consistent high views on every running video he does. He gets a lot of comments. Like he's crushing his content. And I realized that when you niche down, you grow much quicker. Whereas I'm so not niche down. I'm all over the place. I'm about business plus development, partying, going to concerts, but then hiking and working in silence and having long chats and having talking to old people and getting their views. Like I'm all over the place. And as a result, it's so hard for me to grow. Like it's hard for people to categorize me, box me because I'm so broad. But this is just me being me. I am this broad as a person. And I need to continue having faith that if I keep doing this, things are going to work out really well in the future. But it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be a very slow burn. Whereas if you niche down, you instantly there's a quicker exponential curve, but you plateau much quicker. Whereas I can keep exponentially going for a longer period of time because I'm that broad and I can attract that broad of an audience. I'm at 20. I realized that I befriend people who need a friend, and I get sad or grow apart from people who are independent and don't need a friend. So, what often happens is that I'll meet people who maybe recently came out of a breakup and they're looking for friendship, they're looking for that daily companionship. And that's exactly what I'm not attracted to, but that's what I attract, that's what I want. So, I usually meet those people at where they're at. And as they regain their confidence, get over this breakup, get back on their own 2 feet, start gaining that independence, I guess Now they're a different person and they're no longer need or want or find what I'd initially offered something attractive when it comes to a friendship. People often fall in love. People often end up at a point where they're now in a relationship with a person that is completely different to the person they fell in love with, completely different to the person they initially became attracted to as a friend. And it's something that I'm starting, I see and I'm understanding. I don't have a solution to it yet, but it's something that I wanted to write down and talk about. This is a possible solution. Seeing this common trend in my life, learning to enjoy building people up and having them go off on their own once they figure themselves out, and embracing it rather than being sad about it. Because if this is consistently happen, I should lean into this, expect it, know it, want to be the daily friend that they need on a daily basis when they're going through a rough time, and push and motivate them to go off on their own once they've now talking to a few girls and now they're sort of have a few people that take up their energy and time. Let them go and be like, hey, you're good to go. I'm fine on my end, and open that door for the next person to walk into your life. So I'm trying to spin that sort of that sad thought and view I had earlier into something more positive. Because I do notice myself gaining like dependency. Like when someone comes into my life, like let's say a stray dog comes in, it's giving me so much love, I become dependent on that love. And let's say the dog heals, recovers, finds its mum, and goes back to his mum. Like I feel really sad. Like sad to the point where like I would have rather the dog not come in my life in the first place, because then I wouldn't have had a reason to feel sad. I wouldn't have been able to get that high and so much love and get that dip back to baseline. But as I shared that, I should embrace and be grateful for the love when it's there. And when that vacuum occurs, when it goes away, learn how to love myself again. It's easier said than done. Let me think about it though. Like every time a vacuum occurs, what can I do? I can reach out to other friends. I could dive more into work. I could spend time doing things on my own and building up thoughts that I can now then share and then put more energy and effort into these lessons. Those are possible solutions. Number 22, second last point. Ooh, this is a good one. It figures back off the 21st point. Right now, I'm in a phase of need. I have a whole, like, I want that human interaction. I want that love. I want that community. I want that care, attention, love. And right now, I have a bunch, not a bunch, but like I have a solid 3, 4 friends that help facilitate that for me. So this is the other side around. I'm the injured dog in this scenario. And when I then find sort of a soulmate, a partner that really can fill up that void and basically fill the hole that I've been Frankensteining these 4 or 5 friends into, if I meet a soulmate that completely fills that on her own, that person's going to get a lot of my attention and time and care and love. And I think the 4 or 5 friends, they are going to feel a vacuum. Whether it's I would reach out to them on a daily basis, whether I reach out to them every week, whether I reach out to them every 2 weeks, when that disappears, they're going to feel it. When they give me a call, I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm currently having dinner with so and so, my partner. They're going to be like, damn. Back in the days, I could call Andy whenever and he was ready to talk. So I'm now realizing that I might be a hypocrite. I might be like, when I find a partner, like how I feel right now, they're going to feel the exact same thing. But because I'm aware of this and I know how sucky that vacuum space feels of like having so much daily interactions with someone and having them get on their own 2 feet and disappear or like go off on their own. When I do find my partner, I'm going to put in extra effort to really check in on my friends and thank them and let them know like, hey, I know we haven't talked lately. I know I've been giving a lot of energy to, my partner, my soulmate. I just wanted to send you a voice message to let you know that I really appreciate you being there, being someone that I could talk to once every 2 weeks, once every month, once every 6 months. Yeah. Number 23. Oh, this is something I met a friend and I was like, maybe I wasn't using the right word, but I was like, you have this very like cool, angsty, sort of awkward, sort of like energy. And it was like in a way where it's like it was really very attractive. It was like an attractive level of angst. It was like this weird, unique, sort of weird, angsty, sort of emo sort of energy that was just like very attractive. But I guess I didn't emphasize that enough. But I think when I brought that up, by the way, it's not someone that I date. Sort of like in a scenario where that couldn't happen. Um, but every time I remember bringing it up twice and like she like left twice. I picked it up so slowly. I don't know why, but I was just like trying to figure out. I was like, I mean, like, yeah, like I was trying to figure out why this energy was like very attractive. But I think using the word angst, using like, yeah, angsty, teenage angst, definitely offended her. But we're not even that close. It's sort of like a friend of a friend, a close friend of a friend, I guess. But a close friend of a friend that isn't too close, sort of in my outer circle. There's my close inner circle, and there's outer circle, which is people that are yeah, they're pretty like they have an invite to my birthday. So I'm like feeling guilty because I'm a people pleaser and I don't want people to feel like I've done them wrong. At the same time, she sort of knows me as a person and she knows my intention. And at the same time, you only get offended by something if there's truth to it. So like it's not my fault, like you're offended by this compliment, but it is sort of my fault. I should have clarified things further. So I was feeling bad. Like I did like we're not close enough where I can just give her a call directly. But I definitely wanna somehow like I don't even know. But like the thing is like I might be overthinking it. There might be no issue at all. But at the same time, I might be adding fuel to the fire if I do ask about it. So it's like a weird, precarious situation. Let me close my eyes and figure out what's the best solution. So I think the best solution is to not really like force, like I'm gonna just make it awkward if I call or bring it up. I think the best way is probably wait till you sort of next see that person in person if there's a catalyst for that conversation to come up, bring it up like I usually do. Bring it up and be like, hey, like, by the way, this is a compliment. I know I've sort of mentioned this before. Hopefully you don't take it in a bad way. Like I truly mean it in a good way. Like it's like the reason why I bring it up is because it's like a very attractive energy. Really spin it and make sure that they know it's a compliment. Yeah. I'm exhausted. These do like take a lot out of me. So today is the 9th of April 2024. That's another episode of Lessons. I'm spent. I'm tired. Today was a solid day. I'm glad. This was a great outlet. Like I'm glad I got everything out of the table. Like now I know maybe things might be different after I end this call, but the yearn to talk to someone, talk to a friend, the yearn for someone to just chat to has gone, as I've done so much chatting. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.